One of the goals of the light sports segment of GA is to get pilots who might have gotten out of aviation for whatever reason re-engaged. And here at Sebring at the Light Sport Expo 2014, there are many, many examples of airplanes that might help a pilot do just that. I personally tend to gravitate towards low-wing tricycle gear airplanes. They're very similar to the airplanes in which I learned to fly. And so we took the opportunity while we were here this January to fly 3 different examples in that category. Now, these are not flight tests. We approach this from the perspective of a person coming back into aviation and what they might be able to expect if they took a demo ride in one of these airplanes at a show like the Light Sport Expo at Sebring. We flew the Zenith CH 650, which is a kit-only airplane. We flew the Vans RV-12, which is available in kit form and also as a production airplane. And at the high end of the spectrum, we flew the Bristell, which is available only from the factory. And as you'll see, each of these airplanes has something to offer in this segment of the market.
Now this is a light sport, correct?
What we do at Zenith, we just sell kits. Right. So it does meet the light sport definition, so you can fly it in light sport.
Okay.
We're unique. We have a center stick. We do have a dual stick options. I find that most of the customers that come for a demo flight, once they fly the center stick, they never go with the dual stick. Customers never fly it, then they always go with the dual stick.
Yeah. How much of what we see here comes with the kit?
All the airframe kit is included, but no instruments, paint, or upholstery, or engine option.
Okay.
We do have kits for all those. The kit's right at $19,000 for the standard airframe kit for the 650.
Okay.
Controls clear and free. I've turned it on the right tank. Got 12 gallons in there.
Zulu runway 35, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 35. So for a normal takeoff, I like to have the stick back like a soft field takeoff. Get that nose off it just a little bit because you need a little angle of attack. Otherwise, you'll be building up too much speed on the ground, then you pull back, and then it just shoots up like a rocket.
Okay.
If you want to follow along, you're definitely welcome to do that.
All right. Tell me about the mission for this airplane. You say you fly some cross-country, but when you talk about a typical buyer, what are they looking for when they look at a kit like this?
They're looking at us as an easy airplane to build, excellent factory support. We do that. We do have rudder workshops once a month, so you come to the factory, build the rudder. The rudder is the same as building the wing. We do offer that. And then we do make it easy. We do make it available, different options like engine options. You know, we really want to leave it up to the home builder what they want to do with their airplane. We don't want to supply them everything and make it a factory-built airplane.
Yeah.
You know, you can go 120, 130 miles an hour on a smooth day, or you can cruise around, bring the power way back, and fly a slow flight. It's very easy.
So nice visibility with this double canopy.
Yeah, it is. All right, let me do some slow flight, and then after do some slow flight, and I'll let you fly it and see how you feel. Now, the difference in the Zenith versus a lot of other airplanes, the rudders are a little stiffer. And the reason for that is we are moving that nose wheel in flight, so there's a lot of resistance there. They got the bungee and the shock cord. But the advantage thing of having that like that is on a bumpy day, your rudder's not kicked all around. You can kind of just let go. It's kind of holding its own position. Yeah, we're down in the 40s.
Yep. And where's the stall speed?
Right there. That's where we're braking right there. And that's about right, about 49.
Yep.
Okay, it's your airplane. It's going to take you probably 30 minutes to an hour in any light sport airplane to be comfortable after flying Cessnas and Pipers. Typical cruise speed is 2,800. I've got it at 24. We're burning 4 gallons of fuel before. We're cruising 116.
Okay.
So it's very efficient.
Now, this UL engine, is it an auto gas option?
It is. They recommend premium auto fuel, right? 93 octane, or you can use 100 lead.
So is this an airplane that, for instance, if I wanted to fly from Jacksonville down to Key Largo, go for a dive, would I be able to carry enough useful load to put a dive bag in the back?
You're typically probably about 600 pounds useful load.
Yeah.
And you can actually, anything you get in here, it'll haul out. No problem. There's tons of power.
Now, I can see where this would be a really good option for somebody who is looking to get back in inexpensively.
Right.
It's a couple of fingers on the stick, just real light. I'm impressed.
Good.
Zenith MO, let's see you turning downwind, runway 35, clear to land. Clear to land, Zenith MO.
And it's just a normal landing. Yep. Very easy. Just settles right in.
It's just good to know that I can still control one of these.
Oh yeah, you did just fine. And how many hours do you have?
You know, I'm really relatively low time. I think I've got about 150.
You did really good.
Explore no limits flying in the newly FAA-certified Sea Ray Elite Amphibious LSA. Progressive Aerodyne Sea Ray Elite with a Rotax 914 turbocharged engine is equally at home on the ground, in the air, or on the water. Check it out at www.searay.com. The aviation industry is far too automated and impersonal. Levels of care, service, and focus on customers have faded. Concierge provides premier customer care, leading our industry on a return to service. Find us at www.concierge.aero.
Chris Thielen with Synergy Air. I know you're working with Vans on this RV-12 project for the production, but I want to talk with you a little bit about somebody who is coming back into aviation after having been out of it for a while. They're coming in and they're evaluating different airplanes. What can you tell people about an RV-12 that would make that something they should consider?
Sure. Well, the RV-12 is a practical airplane. It's very economical to operate. The visibility is fantastic out of the cockpit. The controls on the inside are very simple to use, laid out ergonomically so that the average person can figure out how to fly the airplane very easily, even after coming back into it.
Is it an expensive proposition comparatively to get into this as a kit airplane?
As a kit airplane, we feel it's very affordable for somebody to build their own. And you also have the factory built option if you're not interested in putting one together. You simply don't have the time to put one together.
And the difference in price between the kit built, which you said was around 70 some with options, and the factory built airplane?
The factory built start at 115 and they go up to 123 for a fully loaded, and that includes your ADS-B, autopilot, and wheel fairings.
When someone has been out of aviation for a while, what can they expect when they get into an RV-12?
I would say you're going to find a really sporty airplane, very responsive on the controls. You can fly it with 2 fingers. It's a high-performance little sports car.
It's got a Rotax 912, correct?
Right. It's a Rotax 912 ULS, the carbureted Rotax. It's just a single lever. There's a choke for easy cold starting, but otherwise that isn't really used. And automatic mixture control, you really don't have to put a lot of thought into your engine management other than I want power now, so I add the throttle application. I flew this airplane out from Oregon. That was a 22-hour cross-country. And we were seeing 5 gallons an hour, 118 knots true airspeed on the way down. It's very economical to fly this airplane long distances. It's very comfortable for the long distance, as well as just sightseeing around your local airport, taking friends flying and introducing new people to aviation.
When someone is coming in and trying to evaluate airplanes, how do you think they should go about selecting an airplane?
I think it's really a personal decision, what somebody can afford versus what they fit in well when they get in the airplane. If they feel comfortable in the cockpit, getting in and out of the airplane is something that's a personal decision for any buyer. We feel we have a very complete airframe kit, a complete avionics kit, something that the average person would feel very comfortable flying even after coming back into aviation.
Well, Chris, thanks very much for taking some time to talk with us today.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Since 2001, MGL Avionics has produced avionics for experimental and life sport aircraft. The flagship product is the IEFIS, a comprehensive next-generation flight, engine, and navigation instrument designed to meet the demands of the modern pilot. See more at www.mglavionics.com. Powering the next generation of LSAs, Renegade Light Sport introduces the amazing LF26, 4-cylinder, water-cooled, direct-drive, fuel-injected 91 horsepower D-motor aircraft engine. And yes, there is a 6-cylinder version in development.
All right, right now we're just letting her warm up. I like to make sure that I've got my choke all the way off before I even move. It's just a good idea. Show tower, November 348, Bravo Lima is ready at 1735.
Hey, Bravo Lima, runway 35, clear for takeoff.
35, clear for takeoff, hey, Bravo Lima. We're climbing about 500 feet per minute at 96 knots.
Right.
We've got about 20 knot headwind, looks like. And, you have the controls right now. I'm off the controls.
My airplane?
You got it.
You talked about, picking an airplane that fits your mission. What is the mission for this Bristell?
This Bristell is really a cross-country touring or trainer. We're about the price, a little bit less than a Cessna 172.
Right. But
it's a brand new airplane, so it's really cool. It's $5 an hour less than a 172 that's 35 years old.
Right.
The fuel burn has been great if you're using it for touring. We came from Texas and averaged about 5.3 gallons an hour at 108 knots.
Yeah.
So that's a 75 to 80% power cruise. We were typically between 1,500 and 4,500 feet on the way over 5,500 feet. They reduce your power to about 4,000 RPM.
Holding altitude pretty well as we come through those turns too.
It's a fairly easy airplane to control, so it's not going to overload a new student. As a buyer, that's important because any new airplane you go out in, you're going to be distracted. You're going to be looking at the toys and the bells and the whistles.
Yeah.
And you can see we're flying all day 50 knots.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really easy.
I'm pretty proud of myself. I haven't done this for a while, and I'm still within my 100 feet of altitude.
Outstanding. Now you can go ahead and pull the power back just a tiny bit more, about 200 RPM, about 3,600. What I want you to do is I want you to feel that burble. We're at 42 knots, 39 knots, and there she goes. Now as she falls, look, she corrects herself because of the hydro.
Yep.
You didn't have to make any aileron input. And the pedals remained centered.
And we only lost
less than 100 feet.
Less than 100 feet, and that's all.
Right.
Let's bring those flaps back up.
I go to a cruise configuration.
Yep.
Okay. I usually cruise about 5,200.
Okay.
That gives me about a 5.3 burn, 5.3 an hour burn. We're burning about 33 gallons an hour, and we have 180 on board, so we have almost 6 hours on board.
Okay.
So we're doing a ground speed of about 103, indicated about 108, which is what we expected at this RPM. And this is about where I cruise cross country. Now, when you're making choices, a lot of guys are more comfortable with the EFISs now because a lot of their experience already is with flight simulators and games and things. My choices are Dyne on Skyview, the 10-inch is standard, or the Advanced Flight Systems 10-inch AFS 5600. Both of those come with a comm radio built in, a MODES transponder built in, GPS built in, a backup battery built in, an autopilot built in. Both of them have synthetic vision, and both of them have mapping software. So that comes standard with the airplane. Also standard with the airplane is leather interior. The other thing that we do to make this more of a transition airplane, we do put the electric fuel pumps, we put the carb heat on. We try to put as many controls in there that they're going to be accustomed to if they do move to a bigger airplane.
Yeah.
Or, in the opposite, if you're coming from a bigger airplane, you get in this, all the things you're used to are already here. The only thing that's gone is mixture.
Yeah, right.
Most of our buyers are not necessarily just sport pilots. They're guys that are transitioning into a more economical airplane out of their Cirrus, out of their Bonanza. So for them, they're giving up 40 knots, they're giving up 2/3 of the fuel burn, but the average trip is only 200 miles. So that really, it's the difference between 2 hours and 2 hours and 30 minutes.
You know, for somebody like me, I live in Jacksonville, I love it in the Keys. It's a 10-hour proposition. Yeah. No matter how you slice it. Yeah. Something like this,
2.5 hours.
It's a 2.5-hour proposition.
So how do you feel flying the airplane?
I like it.
Expo Tower, 348 Bravo Lima's left base, 35.
Fort Bravo Lima, Roger, runway 35, cleared to land.
35, cleared to land, Roger, 3 Bravo Lima. I typically will land long, that way I can roll to the end real easy and let the other guys out.
8 Bravo Lima, left at the end, and let me know when you need to park.
Left at the end, and I'm just going back to the ramp out tower.
Roger, then left on 32, hold short of 35.
Left on 32, hold short of 35, Roger.
So what did we learn? Well, the folks that we talked to at Sebring said there are some things you need to think about as you begin this process, and that means you need to do some homework. You need to think about how you're going to use your airplane and where you intend to fly it. You also need to consider whether or not you have the time and the skills to take on a project like building your own airplane. And then, of course, is what you want in the airplane in terms of instruments and other options. Any of these 3 airplanes would be a good choice for me as far as an LSA is concerned. They're all good cross-country flyers. They'd be reasonably inexpensive to own and operate. And, of course, they exhibit flying characteristics that are not intimidating for a relatively low-time pilot. So the bottom line is, once you've determined what kind of airplane it is that you're looking for, how you'd like to have it equipped, and whether or not you want to take on the project of building your own, then go to a show like Sebring. There are going to be knowledgeable people who can answer your questions, and you'll have an opportunity to go fly. That way you can directly compare the different types of airplanes, and you'll have a much better chance of finding the airplane that's going to be perfect for you. For Aero-TV, I'm Tom Patton.